How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 49 of the Summer Shredding Prep Series. It's a beautiful day outside, so I was like, you know what, why don't we film outside? So I saw this sort of topic or idea in one of Gabe Deutsch, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Everybody knows Gabe. He's a YouTuber who does fitness stuff, and we all love him. So he was just doing a video reminiscing on the olden days in the gym, how it used to, how times used to be. And I was like, you know what, that's a really good idea, because it's another rest day video. So I was like, all right, why not? Let's talk about the good old days, So I got this cup of water for myself. I remember I filmed, I think it was a Q&A. It was one of my first YouTube videos, and I had 2 cups, and I was like, here's one, and I go like that and give it to you. Thought that was such a cool thing. And literally Chris freaking took his cup and he posted on his story. He goes, oh, thanks, dude. He literally grabbed the cup from a video. It was really funny. I don't know, it was just whatever. Anyways, yeah, I just figured it would be a neat topic to talk about, just because I've brushed upon my sort of beginning years, but never really dived into them. But me and Robbie were just talking about it, Robbie, my brother, and we were just chatting about it. And lifting back in the day was just something else. I remember the certain workouts that I would do, and just it was a different sort of intensity. Back in the day, we would work out every single night at 10 p.m. Because that was what worked for my schedule and what worked for his. So a lot of the times I would literally just do, I would go to school. I was in high school, right? I'd go to school, then after school I'd have lacrosse practice, and then I'd come home from lacrosse practice, I would eat, do all my homework, and then Robbie would come home from his one job, and we would go to the gym. And so I was a very, very active young man. I think that, to be honest, I was overworking, because when you really look into the amount of activity I was getting, especially around my junior, senior year, I would have gym class, which my gym teacher really liked seeing me lift. So I would actually lift in gym class. I would lift, get a workout in, and then after school, lacrosse practice, and then sometimes I would go to club lacrosse practice as well. And sometimes after that, I would go to the gym with my brother, because I would never miss a gym session with Robbie at night. So sometimes I was working out 4 times a day. I was an extremely active kid, and it's just pretty crazy. But those late night gym sessions were, the best. Back in the day, before I really knew what I was doing, and Robbie didn't really know what he was doing either, just the shenanigans in this gym. It was a gym called Zip Fitness, and it was a commercial gym, but it was crazy. We kept to ourselves. We literally would just work out with each other. We never ever talked to anybody else, which is the polar opposite of how we are now. We literally talk to everybody in the gym and always have such a great time. But to be honest, those days were something else. We would drive to the gym. Sometimes we'd pick up one of my best friends, Angel, from his apartment complex on the way to the gym, and we would all have Amino Energy, and we would get cracked out on Amino Energy, because this was before we even took caffeine or anything. Caffeine used to hit so hard that a few scoops of Amino Energy would just rock us, absolutely rock us. So it was so funny. We'd be driving to the gym, scooping, dry scooping Amino Energy, and it was getting cracked on this 60 milligrams of caffeine, the most clean energy possible. We were just getting zooted, because we're little high schoolers, and obviously my brother's a little bit older, but still he didn't have caffeine, so it hit us all. And just so many shenanigans, the amount of certain lifts that we would do, and just the sort of inexperience or lack of knowledge was just so, the naiveness was awesome. I kind of miss that, you know what I mean? Now I take everything so seriously, or if I don't get a lift, I get so mad, or if I don't, if my workout isn't perfectly executed, I get so mad at myself. Whereas back then, there wasn't a single workout that was a bad workout. It was always a good workout. I was always leaving satisfied, or happy with what I had done, making progress constantly, obviously. But just those days were just something else, because just the mindset change in my brother and I is just kind of something that's like crazy. You know, we went from literally talking to nobody in the gym to literally befriending like every single member at the gym now. Like we literally have a whole squad of like 10 plus people that we really like and really enjoy their presence and stuff. And it's just really interesting because at first we never, we if anything, we disliked the people at our gyms. Like we just like, again, we're like gym nemesises with these people and stuff like that. Like we would always just stick to ourselves and just lift with ourselves, and that was it. Like we would not talk to a single soul. And now it's the complete opposite, which is really interesting to see just how things have changed. But there's so many like funny stories. It's like, for example, the drives to gym were always crazy because Robbie had these bass cannons in the back of his old Acura car, and we would just blast music on the way to the gym. Like we were those guys who had the subs all the way amped up, and we're driving down the street at 10 p.m. and just blaring our music. So we're shaking the whole street. And he just reminded me that this is such a funny tradition. Like we would literally drive to the gym, and this was when Kendrick Lamar's album, I don't even know what the album was called, but the song "Be Humble," right? We love that song. Like that was like our anthem to the gym. So like we would have a set playlist that would go down, and when that would come on, we would both reach into like the little drawer and put sunglasses on at 10 p.m. in the car and just bump to this song. Like it set the tone, and it is the funniest little tradition ever, but it's like the most legendary thing that we always talk about because it was just like an instant vibe set and just a mindset shift of just like it didn't matter what was going on or what problems we had with life or any issues. The second that song came on, we put on those shades. It's just like time to tear it up in the gym. It is just like such good times, just such good times. And like there's so many stories of like very interesting people in the gym. It's like it's crazy, you know, like that was like literally 8 years ago, and it makes me wonder like where all those people are nowadays, or like if they still lift. So the gym, Zip, had closed my senior year of high school. It had closed right after New Year's, and it got bought out by a Planet Fitness. And so the Planet Fitness like gym, they just sort of transferred everybody's memberships over. So it's like I've always wanted to go back there and see if anybody's like still there. But it's pretty crazy, just like the difference of like that day. Like I was supersetting like everything. We had this like crazy tricep superset that we swore by, and it was like literally like it had to be like 10 plus sets in a row of just tricep destruction on all these machines. And like it was like the greatest pump I've ever had in my life. Like I still haven't had a better pump than I used to get back then. And it's just crazy. Like training intensity was so much different, vibes were so much different, and like it was just me and Robbie, which is like cool. I definitely like nowadays like more, obviously, because we actually have friends now in the gym, but like that was also like a really neat like little brother thing. Like we literally would just grind and push each other as hard as we can. Like he literally benched like 405 at 21 there, which is like such a crazy idea to even like grasp. But it's just crazy how far we've come as two individuals since then, and like, you know, how much we've grown and matured, and obviously like literally just how much we've gotten stronger too. Like back then, I think my bench was like 185. I don't think I ever hit 225 there. I hit 185 there. Squats, I could hardly squat 225, and deadlift was 345 was the most I ever picked up there. And so like to look back and think about, you know, that was like by my senior year, so I was like 17, 18 years old. Those were my numbers. And now at 22, like, you know, 640 pound deadlift, 405 around there squat, bench 300, like the progress there, and then the progress in physique too. I was a beanpole. I was literally a twig. So it's pretty crazy to like think about those days, like just like driving to the gym cracked on not even pre-workout, like literally Amino Energy. Like if you know anything about supplements, you know what Amino Energy is. It's like the most beginner pre-workout. Like it's literally just like a cup of coffee, but that would just get me zooted. Thinking about that, you know, thinking about just the different mentality, you know, with training and stuff is super interesting. It was good old times, but you know, I feel like those times were definitely necessary for my growth overall as like a human being. And it's just pretty neat to sort of think about and reminisce about. And I saw it in Gabe's video. He's just talking about like when he first started lifting, like how much different it was compared to now, like how much things have changed. And I was like, you know, it's a really good idea for like a rest day topic. And since this is a rest day, I was like, sure, why not? Let's talk about it. But yeah, I had such a unique and like interesting beginning years and times and experiences with the gym. It's crazy, and I'm grateful that I stuck with it because, you know, obviously through the gym I have met some of the most amazing people in my entire life. Like I absolutely love them all, and just grown so much as an individual. It's a great and beautiful thing, and I'm like eternally grateful for the gym, you know, for working out. I'm glad I stuck with it. You know, 8 years I stuck with this, so it's pretty wild to think about, you know, just like that's a long time. Like that's a long time. That's nearly half my life, almost, you know, like it'll be a third of my life in a few years now, but like 8 years, like that is crazy. Is it a third? Can I do math right? Yeah, it's a third. Once I'm 24. But yeah, just pretty interesting. Just like the gym's great. We love the gym. I mean, I love the gym. I'm sure if you're watching this at some point, you love the gym too, because this is a pretty fitness orientated channel. But yeah, it's just like good old times, good times, definitely good times. It's always like neat to think about those days. You know, I was a completely different human being. I was so interesting back then. It's wild. But yeah, I figured I would just chat about that a little bit, go back in time and talk about that a bit, ramble on for a little too long, but just very interesting. Just crazy, you know. My upbringing in the gym was so much different than it is now. You know, like my life in the gym is so much different now. Different in a good way though, definitely in a good way. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. These rest day videos are literally like just a toss in the water. Like it's just like whatever. Most people just care about the gym edits and the workouts and, you know, the information gained from that, but this is more about me and my personal life. So I like these because I kind of like talking. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you please drop a like and a comment, those help me a ton. You have no idea how much those help with the algorithm and stuff like that. I'll try and get back to the comments as soon as possible. Getting better at it. Who's your good boy? And if you could subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. We are doing very well subscriber wise, to be honest. We've been doing like really good, so I'm really satisfied with our growth there. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. So as always, whenever you're watching this, have a great day or night, and as always, have yourselves a damn good one.